Welcome back. I'm Anna. For those of you that are following my videos, I'm sharing my shoulder surgery recovery journey, and it has now been 1 week, and I had my post-op appointment a couple of weeks ago. They took out my sutures. I was able to see them for the first time. Until that, I didn't know exactly where they were. The doctor had drawn on my shoulder before my surgery, so I had an idea of where they were going to be. But after talking to my surgeon at the post-op appointment, I was informed that I was one of very few cases that she had where the bicep tendon was frayed, had a ton of scar tissue, and was very inflamed. It was, I guess it's something where around 5% of shoulder surgery patients, I think those that have a slap tear, only 5% of them have this issue. I could be incorrect on that. It could be 5% of all shoulder repair surgeries have this, but it sounded like it was quite interesting and a shock to her because the way that your bicep tendon lies when they do an MRI, there were a couple of spots where the bicep tendon lost signal because of the way that the MRI slices the images and the way that the bicep tendon lies in your arm. So my surgery was supposed to be a little over 1 hour, and it ended up lasting a little over 2 hours. So I was under general anesthesia for about 3 hours, I think. So yeah, the surgery was way worse than expected, and so it sounded like she had to get a little creative to figure things out, but everything is stitched up and fixed now. It just took a little bit longer to get it finished, so it sounded like that my recovery will still be the same, still the 6 weeks in a sling, 4 to 6 month recovery of getting back to 100% full range of motion. So kind of what I'm doing now is I'm able to do what's called pillow nesting a lot more, where my arm, see if I can show you real quick, where my arm is just nesting on the pillow and I'm trying to keep it straight. It's much more comfortable. Sorry, my camera's not really cooperating. It's much more comfortable doing that than having it in the sling all the time when I'm in the chair. So most of the time that I'm in the chair, I will be pillow nesting, but when I sleep, I still put the sling back on just because I don't trust myself when I'm sleeping, and I think I could potentially injure it. Let me try to fix that. So I have a couple of things that have helped me this past week that I thought that I would share with you. One of them is probably by about day 3, I was definitely ready to take a shower. My hair, I was able to keep it down for the first couple of days, and then I don't know if any of you, if you have long hair, if it's in your face, if it just starts bothering you, but it started to get greasy, and even though I used dry shampoo, I still didn't like the feeling of it on my neck. So I tried very hard to put my hair back with one hand, and it just is not possible, or at least I couldn't figure it out. So I then asked my husband to put my hair back, and he has done our daughter's hair a few times, but I don't know how to explain it. It was hard because he was doing the best that he could do, and I was frustrated because I couldn't get it to look the way that I wanted to do it, and I couldn't do it myself. But I finally just had to realize that it's not going to look the way that I want it to. He is helping me the best that he can, so I just need to be okay with what it looks like. But something I found that was a lot easier was putting it up with a scrunchie. And this is one that I actually made myself, but using a scrunchie, it's not as, doesn't have to be in as tight. It can be looser. It still holds your hair back. It wasn't my favorite to have it super loose, but it helped get the job done. So that was very helpful. Scrunchie is helpful if you're having somebody that doesn't usually do your hair or that doesn't do hair at all. That could be a helpful investment for you to get a scrunchie. Still at 1 week, I'm still needing others to help get dressed. My husband is helping me. I'm able to do quite a bit, like pants and pulling stuff up with one hand, but I'm still in basically pajama pants or sweatpants, something that is not tight at the waist so that I can pull it up. I kind of have to move my legs a certain way. It's like my getting dressed dance. It looks kind of silly, but it helps to get the pants up. And it is exhausting getting dressed there. The first time, I'm trying to think. Oh, so since I had my post-op appointment, they took out all of the dressing that was on that made it big and bulky, and they took my stitches out, and then they put just small bandages on that have a waterproof thing over them. They have, I can't remember what they're called, these strips that go on them. Anyways, they help to keep the incision closed even though the stitches are out. And those are on there. I'm still not supposed to get it wet, but I can shower. So they suggested using like Glad Press and Seal, or I have it's like you can find it in the packing section. It's saran wrap that you would saran wrap your boxes or things that you're wanting to stay safe when you're packing. Like if you are saran wrapping bubble wrap around them, you can use that. It's basically saran wrap, but there's a handle for it. I will share a picture of that in the description, or I'll try to find a way to put that in there. But that helped a lot. I've used that to ice different, like my shoulder before, where you can just saran wrap an ice bag around it and then it stays and you can walk around. Well, it's the same kind of thing. You saran wrap around your shoulder where all of your incisions are, and then you can take a shower and not have to worry about it getting wet. It kind of protects it. I would suggest at least the first time that you take a shower after you get the stitches out to use a chair that can get wet to put it in the shower, because what I've found is that if I have to stand up for a long time and let my arm hang down at its side, that it's exhausting for me. And I don't know if it's because of being in the recliner for so long. I mean, I'm still getting up every few hours to walk and move around, go to the bathroom, those things, but if it's causing my core to not be as strong, so then when it's hanging, it just was making my back sore. So I figured, while I'm taking a shower, I don't want to be falling, hurting it more. So I just sat on the chair, and still washing and shampooing my hair was tricky with one hand. But I got some pump shampoo, and so then I just squirted it on top of my hair, and then I used my hair, and I probably had my hair in the water more, just trying to get the soap moved around. It was good to take a shower, but it's not the same as most showers that I take, if that makes sense. Like, I was able to get clean and everything, but after about 7 days, you definitely will be ready to take a shower. Up until then, I was just using, I have a Norwex. It's like a body cloth that you can use to clean yourself. So just doing kind of like sponge bath type thing before that. One thing that I figured out still kind of has effect on me is that we have a tri-level house, so if I walk upstairs to my room or to go to the bathroom or something, and then I come back to the main level and go downstairs, I'm exhausted. So even though I do get up and walk around, I do tire pretty easily. I think some of it is just my body is still recovering from having a major surgery. And then also just being on the pain medicine, that makes me tired as well. I have been able to, probably the last 3 days, go down to just taking one pain pill every 4 to 5 hours during the day. And then at nighttime, to help me get more sleep, I'm doing 2. Some of that is because I just don't like how they make me feel. I feel nauseous, tingly all over. But at nighttime, it's better to not have as much pain and be able to sleep. I still will sleep and take naps throughout the day. It just kind of depends on what I've done. So like going out and doing post-op appointment, that was pretty tiring. And then the next day I had my first day of physical therapy. Everybody has said, physical therapy is really hard. It's painful. And I think I went into it knowing that it was going to be painful. And then basically it was just an evaluation this time, but my therapist still moved my arm around a lot, more than I was expecting for the first time, and it was just really painful for me. Some of that is that it was at the end of my pain medicine, so I was doing physical therapy probably an hour before I would take my next pill, so that probably did not help, but sorry. Pain medicine, like I said, makes me sleepy. But I would say that the hardest thing was not necessarily them moving my arm, but I'm not supposed to do it on my own at all. They're supposed to move it, so I need to relax my arm completely. And I think what happened a few times is that my therapist would do the same movement a couple times, and then it was like my arm remembered, oh, this is the movement that she's trying to do. So then my arm was moving, or I was trying to help move without even realizing it. I don't know if that makes sense, but if you go through this and do physical therapy, you'll probably understand that. So that was hard because a lot of times she was saying, relax, relax, let me do it. And consciously I was trying to let her do that. It was just after it would move a few times, I would subconsciously, I guess, help move it. But I was glad to get that out of the way, and it's hard because since you can't drive, you have to rely on other people, and my husband was watching the kids, and so instead of taking them there, I ended up reaching out and asking ladies in my Bible study if anybody could help take me, and it was such a blessing that within, 5 minutes or so, someone had already responded saying that they could take me. But it's just that it's a hard feeling of being so dependent on everybody else that you can't even do little things like take yourself to an appointment. Now, it may be a big thing, but it seems like not a big thing until after you have the surgery and you realize, oh, there's a lot of stuff I can't do. But I would encourage you to enjoy the things that you can do. One thing that I have done, and it's my left arm, so I'm right-handed, so I'm thankful that it's not my dominant hand. But because of that, I've been able to color in a coloring book. I've been able to write notes. My hope is to write encouraging notes to other friends while I'm here, because I'm in a chair and I have the ability to do that, to encourage others. But I know it's only been a week, so it's going to get harder. But I would say that the hardest thing that I had was just not being able to put my hair in a ponytail, because I've had 35 years of, I'm sure I didn't do it when I was 1, but 25 to 30 years of doing my own hair myself, and it's just really hard to rely on somebody else for such basic things. So I would encourage you that when you have this done, another thing that's going to be hard is communication with your primary caretaker. I know when I've been on the pain medicine makes it harder to think clearly sometimes, and so my husband would ask me, is there anything else you need? And I may not know how to ask for what I need, or I may know, maybe I need this, but maybe not. And sometimes I just don't want to bother him, but I have to remember that he's here to help me, to help take care of me. And so I would just encourage you to have grace with whoever your primary caretaker is, and grace for yourself as well, because it's going to be hard to explain how you would like something done. Like, for instance, how you want the sling set up so that you can get it on. I know a lot of times that's one thing that I can do. I can put the clasps in and I can Velcro it, pretty much do it myself. And so make sure that you let your caretaker know, hey, this is one thing that I just want to do on my own. If I need help with it, then I'll ask. But there are other things like sometimes I think, okay, I can go and get something from the kitchen for myself. But when I start doing those things, then I'm exhausted again. So it's that give and take of realizing what's too much for me to do. And it's okay to let somebody else take care of you for a little while. Like I said, I'm only in week 1. I'm sure it's going to continue to get harder as I start to feel better, but my body and my shoulder are not ready to let me do the things that I want to do. I wanted to show you another thing that was very helpful. We started doing this, I think, on day 3 post-op, but bear with me as I move the camera. See if you can see it. So this is a whiteboard, and I just have the different things that I'm supposed to do. Sorry for that transfer there. We started doing that to make sure that, let's say that my husband didn't get up one night to give me my medicine, that I could look over and see what time did I last take my medicine, what is 4 to 6 hours after that, and then if I needed to take it on my own, I could. But also, both of my kids have special medicines that they take each day. So when, like, let's say that you are married and have a family and your husband is your primary caretaker, or your spouse or whatever, that it's going to take a toll on everybody. And when they're trying to take care of everything for you, other things that are normal and routine may be forgotten. So we just put up there, both of the kids, that their medicine is taken. My doctor had told me to take a baby aspirin twice a day, so I'm doing that as well. Your doctor may or may not have you do that. And I'm trying to think. At the beginning, I was getting up and walking every 2 hours, so he would write when my next time I needed to get up and walk was, when my next medicine was. Now I'm doing something that is called dangling, and I will put a video of that. It's just one of the exercises that my doctor has me doing, and it's painful. It's not the easiest thing to do, but I'm supposed to do it 4 times a day, 15 to 20 times. And see if there's anything else. I think that's all that I had on there, but it's very helpful to have it written down, because with the chaos of everything that's going on, it can be easy to forget times, and that way you're able to stick to your medicine schedule. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, one other thing that I used is I had a kitchen towel that I put from basically my neck down over my sling, so that if I was having soup or any type of food, that it didn't get all over my shirt or all over my sling. And then the shirts that I have, I actually sewed Velcro strips on them to be able to just take them off, put them on, and I'll also have a link for that as well in the description, so you can see if you want to do that. For me, it was very helpful because I didn't have to worry about what I was going to wear. I was able to get it made. It was comfortable. I just used shirts that were my dad's So they're a couple sizes bigger, and I will have a pattern or instructions on how to do that if you are interested in that on my blog. So I think that's all that I have for week 1, but I would say overall I feel a lot better, and it's only been a week, but there still is pain sometimes. I still, as you can see, am using my icing machine pretty consistently. At my post-op appointment, the doctor said that my shoulder was really swollen, a lot in part because they had to do a lot of tugging to try and move that bicep tendon out. It had gotten stuck, so there was just a lot more that happened in my shoulder than was originally thought, so that caused a little bit more swelling. But I just want to encourage you that if you are nervous or afraid of the surgery, that even though it's hard, it's something that once you have it done, it's in the past, and then you can focus on recovery. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask people in your church or ask friends and family to help out, even with having somebody come and clean your house once a week, just to take some pressure off of the rest of your household and giving you a clean house. I think that's all that I have. I will try to put all of the links to the different things I talked about in the description, and I will be back next week to share how I'm doing at 2 weeks post-op from the surgery. Thank you again, and I hope that you all have a blessed day. Bye.